was in my very, very early teens, kind of like, I think when I was about 11 or 12. So every Saturday I'd go to Westminster Kingsway College to do very, very basic stuff, meat prep, butchery, stuff like that. Because my dad's a chef, so he got me into it at a very young age. And then I kind of, when I was at school, I was always trying to focus a lot on cooking as well. So I made sure I did like French, for instance, when I took my GCSEs and stuff, because I thought that would give me a benefit in the kitchens, obviously, because you have like kitchen French. So I tried to learn a little bit of French as well. I was never very good at it, but I just tried to learn a little bit of that as well. And then I went to the University of West London, which is like it was TVU at the time, but it's the University of West London. And I did like a day release at school. So every Friday I'd go to college for 2 years to get my MVQ level 1 and 2, which was very good because I didn't really like school that much anyway. So it was nice to get out and go to college and do something I actually enjoyed doing. And because I had a little bit of knowledge beforehand, naturally I was the best in the class, which is always good for someone like myself that needs to have that, like, people looking up to you kind of thing, which I've always kind of strived for. After I finished my 2 years doing the day release, I went to the Royal Garden Hotel as an apprentice with Steve Monkley, which is very good, but I actually ended up doing my MVQ level 2 again. So I've got it from 2 different colleges. And then I did my level 3 as well at Westminster Kingsway, sorry. And then I stayed there for 2.5 years as an apprentice, and then into a commie and a second commie, which is good. It's a good experience I think I was about 19 when I left there, and I went to Wilton's because 2.5 years in a hotel was quite a long time, so I wanted to see something else. So naturally I went to a restaurant. I went to the second oldest restaurant in London, Wilton's in St James, which is kind of like, it's a very, very well-known restaurant in the kind of upper echelon of people. There's lots of elitists that go there, I would say, lots of MPs, lots of celebrities and stuff, because it's very, very private and everyone's very kind of hush there as well. So the likes of Alan Sugar and Boris Johnson, stuff like that, would all go there quite often as well, which was quite cool, to feed those kind of people and to have them going to the restaurant. I learned a lot there as well. I was there for 3 years, I think, the first time. And in the first year that I was there, I was actually doing my MVQ level 3 in pastry as well. So I was doing 4 splits, 1/2, and then on my 1/2, I would go to college in the evening. So it was a very, very hard year, to be honest with you, because I was doing around 65, 70 hours anyway at work, and then going to college on top of that on my one evening off. It was a bit of a stretch, to keep myself motivated, but it was something I wanted to do at that age, because then I'd have to pay for college otherwise afterwards, after I got a little bit older. So I made sure I'd did it when I was younger. And then I went to the Ritz for a little bit. I think I did about exactly 6 months there, because it was quite a hard kitchen to be in. There was lots and lots of sous chefs there, and obviously it's quite a high pressured environment. It was when they were pushing for their star as well, so I didn't really get on too much there, because I like to have, especially at that age, I think I was around 19, 20, 21 maybe, it was good to have direction as to where I was going, but not 6, 7, 10 people telling you what to do. So I don't really find it was the best environment for me to learn in. So I left there quickly. I left there as quickly as possible, really. It just wasn't my thing at all. There's no point in staying somewhere if you don't feel like it's going to benefit your career and it's not benefiting you personally and mentally as well. It just wasn't a very good environment for me to be in. And then I went back to Wilton's, actually. They were very nice to let me back. And I stayed there for another 2.5 years, progressing through my career, up to, I was a senior chef de partie when I left there. I probably would have stayed there for a little bit longer, but I had a motorbike accident where I broke my ankle. I broke my ankle, so I was out for about 3 months, out of the kitchen and out of everything for about 3 months. So that was a bit soul destroying. But fortunately, during the time, I had Steve Monkley called me from the Royal Garden Hotel and said he had a position open up as a junior sous chef. And being, I think I was 23 at the time, 23 or maybe 24, to get a position as a junior sous chef in a five-star hotel was something that I was definitely interested in. Not only from a monetary aspect, but also from a seniority position as well. Being that age and being able to go back to somewhere where I still knew people that were still obviously they were going to be in lower positions than me. That was going to be difficult as well because people just assume you're going to be the same person you are as when you left when you were 16 or when you were 17 or 18. But obviously I've matured so much over that time, so it was yeah, it had its own challenges going back to somewhere that I'd already been, but it turned out to be a very, very good experience for me to be in a managerial position anyway. And then I stayed there I think I was there for about 2.5 years. I went from junior sous chef to sous chef, and I think that was the point in my career where I learned the most about being a manager. Obviously, I had a lot of people that were very, very experienced around me and had a lot more years in the game above me as well. So it was good to learn from them. Obviously, Steve Monkley was a fantastic person to learn from, and there was a sous chef there called Paolo who had been there for around 16 years. Sorry, my cockatiel is going to join me. That had been there for around 16 years, and he was an absolute monster at banqueting. So it was good to learn from different people about different aspects of hospitality and how important they are and integral they are to the whole thing, because you don't make a lot of money doing a restaurant, so like the business won't make a lot of money being a restaurant, so you need to make money from afternoon tea, doing 100 afternoon tea on a Saturday and doing the banqueting and stuff. Obviously these kind of things will have to change quite a lot over the next coming years to fit around the whole corona thing, but banqueting's where you make your money anyway, so it was good to learn about all different aspects of hospitality. Obviously, I've been very fortunate to do all of those things. A little bit of contract catering on the side as well that I've done, and obviously fine dining restaurants to where I am now, which is a small family-run restaurant. But after the Royal Garden Hotel, I went to the Westbury as the executive sous chef. I don't know, some places just make up names of what their positions are going to be, but I knew I was going in there as the number 2 anyway, which was cool for me. After about 6 months, I proved myself enough actually that I managed to get the executive chef position. So it was cool. It was cool to have that, justified, because I was pushing for it anyway. So it was nice to be able to get that executive chef position. And I think I was 27, being an executive chef of a 5-star hotel, which is pretty good going for me, to be honest with you. I think that's my goal was always to be an executive chef by the time I got to 30. So it was nice to beat my own goal, but obviously, different things happen obviously in life. A lot of people now will have to kind of give themselves a little bit of leeway and maybe add a year on to their goals, because obviously people are going to be out of work for such a long time, which is completely justified. You can't be too hard on yourself, but I was very fortunate to be able to reach that point in my career at that age. And then obviously Corona hit last February, so that was a bit annoying. And then we obviously had Heat Jersey, which was really cool in March, which was very, very good. It was a very nice thing to be a part of. I was like giving back to colleges and schools and whoever I can, really. So that was always good. And then I think it was literally as soon as we got back from Jersey, everything kind of went a bit sideways. So I stayed at the Westbury for a little bit and did a kind of 4 on 4 off, like days while they were trying to sort out what was going on. Obviously, no one knew what was going on, but then the Westbury actually closed and has completely shut down since. So I ended up getting a position in Croydon, which is South London, just a small family-run restaurant, which is really cool. I've got complete free reign over everything that I want to do there, and I've looked after all the menus, the menu change and everything. All the reviews are so much better than they ever have been, and the people that go there as well. It's a very, very well-known restaurant now. Although it was only open for kind of a total of around 3 months while I was there, the reviews and just the more people coming in basically, and more people coming in saying better things, which is fantastic because they were really they were in a tough position because they didn't really have any direction about where they wanted to go. So I kind of said, I kind of changed everything, and it was kind of like a modern European, French, Englishy kind of style of food, which obviously I've done throughout my entire career. So that was cool. And Croydon doesn't have anywhere like that, so it was nice to be able to put my own spin on something and be able to have that free reign and show people what I can do. Obviously, in a hotel environment, you're very restricted because you need to get 50 people to sign off on what you want to do. You need to have the GM sign it off every single menu and every single dish, and then the hotel manager and food and beverage and stuff like that. Whereas in a small family-run restaurant, I need to speak to one person and they need to sign it off, and then I can change the menu as much as I like. So it's quite good, it's quite good. I'm looking forward to obviously being able to go back to work and going from there. But in between all of that and in between working, I was doing competitions as well throughout the early period of my career, between kind of 16 to 21, maybe 16 to 22. I was doing a lot of competitions myself, various different platforms, regional, national, stuff like that. Just whatever kind of competition I could put myself in for, and to gain knowledge from and gain experience from. Not only from a cooking point of view, but a social aspect as well. It's very good to interact with other people, even kind of online competitions now. Obviously, I think the salon this year is going to be online. So, but you can still sign up and still have a look at these things and still interact with people and still converse with people, and even finding out people's names of the judges and stuff and following them on social media is all good for your career, because they might get back to you at some point. They might follow you back, or if they have a position open up, they might put it out on social media, they have a position. So it's always good to have as many contacts as possible, I think, in the industry. But then I kind of retired from doing competitions quite early, just purely because I didn't want to do them anymore. I wanted to focus on getting other people through competitions. By the time I was, like I say, 23, 24, I was the sous chef for the garden. So I had a lot of people there that were around the ages of 17 to 21, that I was kind of bridging that gap between the older sous chefs and the younger people in the kitchen. I was kind of a good age to be able to converse with them in a more down-to-earth manner. So it was good for me to help them with their competitions as well, because they had a lot of success, and it brings me a lot of joy knowing that I helped them a lot in their own careers. And obviously I stay in touch with all of them anyway. So that was really good, really, really good. And obviously throughout that time, Steve Monkley is a big part of the Craft Guild of Chefs. So naturally, I've always been a part of the Craft Guild as well. Ever since I was about 5, I think I went to a Craft Guild cricket day or something with my dad. So I was always involved with these kind of guys as well. And I kind of helped them out on their social side, because they're all quite old. No offense to them, they're quite old in their careers and in life in general, I guess. No offense to anyone that's over 65, but you're kind of getting on a bit. And they kind of don't know how to talk to kids that much. Like even their judging styles and stuff are a bit sideways when it comes to giving feedback to kids that are kind of a little bit younger. I don't think they know how to approach it too well, but I kind of always wanted to give back to the Craft Guild, because they helped me a lot in my career, and Steve Monkley did and stuff like that. So I always wanted to give back to them. So I looked after some lunch clubs for them, just once a month, sorry. Like a Michelin star restaurant. I got a lot of contacts in London, outside of London, that I could get into very, very good places for very, very reasonable prices as well. So I think I did about 9 or 10 of them, and then obviously Corona hit, so we couldn't do them anymore. But I'm still very much involved with the guild. I've got a meeting with them tomorrow actually about setting up a podcast for the guild, just about cooking and about stuff like that. I've got a little podcast that I do anyway. For mixed martial arts, which is just a hobby of mine, but I want to set one up for the guild. There's only a couple of podcasts that I can really think of that do very well, and that's the Grilled by the Staff Canteen, and obviously the Burnt Chef. project and stuff like that, where they have podcasts. And obviously, the Paul Forster guy does a nightcap one, I think it's called. But I feel like they're all quite elitist. Like you need to be a big name to get onto these shows, whereas my kind of concept is to have, a student from a college and a very well-known chef as well to talk about their lives, and then the student can obviously get involved in the conversation, or maybe a selection of students. That's my kind of like pitch for it, so that people from every age and from every position can get involved. I don't think, if you listen to the Grilled by the Staff Canteen thing, they're all very, very well-known chefs throughout the whole season. So it'd be nice to get some people that don't necessarily have a name yet in the industry, kind of thing, but will do in the future. I think it's very important to me as well, to get people involved in college, because obviously colleges are struggling so much at the moment anyway. My stepmom's a lecturer at Westminster Kingsway, and I've jumped on a couple of times with her classes, just to, they do like a little cookery thing on a Thursday afternoon. So I did the menu for that and jumped on while they all did this live cookery thing. So yeah, it's always been very important to me to give back. But I think that pretty much takes it up to about now, to be honest with you.
There's quite a lot in your career, isn't there, Connor? Especially for students to hear, which is really good. You mentioned the Craft Guild. Most of the students should know what the Craft Guild of Chefs Association is, but for the students that are online and they missed my lesson or missed me mentioning it, do you want to mention what it's about?
Yeah, so the Craft Guild is I guess it falls under the category of like a non-profit organisation. It's just a big group of people, obviously hospitality professionals, that all just look after each other and support each other. We have like a chairman, a vice chairman, stuff like that. So it's very similar to how the hierarchy would be anyway, in Parliament or whatever. And then everyone has their own little roles that they play in that. I've actually applied to be on the guild committee as the social secretary, so I can look after some social aspects of the Craft Guild of Chefs. But yeah, just running events. It's really for me, it's always been a support network of people, so that I pay my membership, which is extremely cheap for students anyway, because I think you get like a college package, which is very, very cheap.
£20 for the year for students, I think.
Yeah, and I think £20. I think mine's like 45, right? And I get a magazine which is bi-monthly, which is full of adverts and stuff like that. So sometimes there's not a lot going on that I kind of feel like it's justified, but it's the support behind it. It's not what you get physically or like monetary that you get back. It's more the people that you can meet through doing events that the Craft Guild put on that I would say be the biggest benefit. But yeah, it's a fantastic organisation to be a part of, and like I say, if you can utilise every aspect of it, then it's definitely worth signing up and worth getting in contact with these people as well.
For chefs online, if you want the link for the Craft Guild, I'll post it on this meeting afterwards, so you can have a look at it yourself as well, in case you missed it when I mentioned it in lessons. Connor, you also mentioned you came to Heat Jersey with us.
I did, yes.
For the students that were maybe asleep when I was talking about it non-stop last year, it's a Jersey Heat competition was a week away in Jersey, where we took some students, and Connor was our industry chef. And we came joint winners last year, didn't we, Connor?
We did. You know what? I just say we came first because it sounds better. You don't have to tell anyone else there was joint first, but I think Jersey actually came first with us. So it was probably the fact that they were the home team that they had to come first.
Yeah.
But, we definitely won.
It was a fantastic week. And there's a video on our teams if you want to watch it, chefs, what we did for the week. It was really good. Thank you for that, Connor. So I've got a question for you then, if that's okay. What approach, you want to tell us about your approach to food? So how do you approach designing menus or cooking food and working in the kitchen?
Well, there's kind of like layers to that question. I like cooking food that I like to eat. Do you know what I mean? And I like cooking food that is not gonna force my team to have to do 1 million hours a week. Do you know what I mean? So I want to teach them how to develop themselves and how to develop their skills. But I'm more than happy for any one of my team to say, like, Oh, chef, I've never made an octopus terrine. Can we put this on the starters? Yeah, fine, let's do it. But let's do it the best that we can, and then I'll go and do some research myself. I don't know everything. So I like to be all inclusive, I think is my main approach to food and to cooking. And I think with designing a menu, stick to what you know. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to be able to invent anything brand new. Cooking, people have been cooking for thousands of years, and everyone has done everything at some point. No matter, all these kind of, I don't know, I'm very tongue in cheek with this kind of stuff, but there's a lot of chefs that are like, oh, people are stealing my food, people are stealing my menus. And it's like, you didn't invent food. Do you know what I mean? You didn't invent the carrot. You didn't invent cooking it in butter. So if I want to cook a carrot in butter, then I'm going to do it. It has nothing to do with you. Do you know what I mean? But to be honest with you, I pick a protein that I want to use, and then I have a look at the seasonality charts, have a look at what other people are doing. Social media is very good for seeing what other chefs are doing. Have a look on there, see what other people are doing, put it together. I'm not going to copy a dish like for like, because I think that's a bit cheap, but take elements from different things and then combine it to make your own dishes. But my approach is very relaxed. I don't get too stressed. I don't get too stressed with food. I don't get too stressed with people. You'd ask my team from the Westbury. We're all still very, very good friends, and I don't think they ever saw me as a boss. I've never wanted to be a boss of anyone. I want to be a leader, and I want to be someone that is the driving force of the team. Yeah, as you know yourself, you were kind of a bit tentative around me when we were doing the heat thing, and you quickly found out that I'm just a normal guy, and I just want to help people to be the best that they can as well. I haven't got any kind of major ego that comes across too much.
I think the Jersey team can concur that as well. I think Jay and Harry's online at the moment, and your approach in the kitchen is very relaxed, and you want to get the best out of people. So it's great to see that, especially a lot of stigmatism around chefs in the kitchen these days. So that's really good. We've got a hand up as well. Harrison, you got a question?
Yeah, I have a question, Chef. Hello, Connor. What was your toughest challenge in your career?
My toughest challenge, probably in my early 20s, to be honest with you, when I was working a lot, still going to college, and trying to maintain friendships and relationships as well. I found that was very, very difficult. I was doing, like I said, around 60, 70 hours a week, plus trying to maintain a relationship, plus trying to, see my parents, see my family and stuff like that. It became very, very difficult, and I was so submerged in what I was doing that it was almost causing quite a lot of mental implications to myself. I was, getting quite upset, not only because of the lack of sleep, but just the lack of social interactions that I was having. When I was at Wilton's, I was having a lunch break, obviously between like 3 and 5 was my break, but I would usually be practicing for a competition. I think I did four or five national competitions in the space of a year. It was just a very, very tough year for me, but that's the main thing I can think of, to be honest with you. If I could go back, I would probably balance my time a little bit better as well.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Chef, if you've got any questions, raise your hand. We've got another question here, Connor. It's from Jay. Jay from Jersey.
Yeah.
Jay, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, hi. So, for like a personal view, what is your favourite vinegar for pickle?
I don't know. To be honest with you, Bella Zoo do some really good pickles. They've got the muscatel vinegar. Probably balsamic, to be honest with you. Like a nice aged balsamic is a nice vinegar.
Yeah.
Or maybe an apple cider vinegar, like a really nice one.
Yeah. And thank you very much.
No worries, because obviously we used three different types of vinegars when we did the heat competition, right? Just to get different levels of acidity throughout the dish.
Yeah, we use condimento, muscatel, and apple cider vinegar.
Good memory. Nice. I like it.
He's still taking the pickling on through his career since Jersey, which is good to see.
It's very important to get that.
Is there any other questions?
That level of
any other questions?
Different level of flavour.
Any more questions? I've got a student, Connor. Just seeing he's online. Darren. I've been doing a student blog for all our guest speakers for our students to read about and get to know before they come on. And one of my students, he's an MVQ. Darren, you there?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Do you want to say, Connor, what you told me this morning after you read my blog on Connor?
Yeah, hi Connor, my name's Darren.
Hello, Darren.
I'm one of the more mature students. I just wanted to know, is your dad named Michael?
Yeah, my dad's Michael Godfrey, yeah, which is always quite difficult.
Yeah, I went to school with your dad.
Really?
Yeah,
So
funnily
well.
enough. Found that this morning online as I was Googling you.
Yeah,
he was in my year.
that's crazy.
Big football player, if I remember rightly.
I'm not sure, you know. My dad was around 16 when he started cooking, to be honest with you. Maybe it's a different Michael Godfrey, who knows?
No, he's if I look him up on Facebook, he's a whole bunch of my friends are his friends. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
It's crazy. I don't remember him ever talking about football, to be honest with you, but maybe he's just old and miserable now.
maybe.
What a
Small
small
world.
world it is.
Yeah.
Very, very small world. And obviously having a dad in the industry as well, it does come with its own challenges, you know, but it has benefits and challenges as well, because people assume that, you know, I say, hello, my name's Connor Godfrey, and they say, oh, I know your dad. And that's kind of the first thing you get, which is always a little bit frustrating. But it's, you know, I've always made it very, very evident that I was making my own name in my career. And
Yeah.
fortunately, I'm known for my own person as well now, which is cool. But
Yeah, that wasn't something that I was putting two and two together. It just randomly came up as I thought about it, and I thought, I know of Godfrey, lives in Hayes.
yeah, I don't live in Hayes anymore, which is good. I've moved up in the world.
We've got another question. It's from Andy. Andy, you online?
Connor, hi. We met briefly. I'm a level 3 tutor.
Yeah.
Just linking, moving on from Jay's question. The level 3s have got to, and Jay's one of these, level 3s have got to design themselves and a mousse using sausage meat and a chutney of their choice. So if you were given that, what would you do?
I mean, it's the world is your oyster with that, because you could make, as in pork sausage meat or sausage meat of any animal.
Pork sausage meat.
It has to be pork sausage meat. I mean, we're in February now. It's getting cold. Probably something wintry, something autumnal. Probably you could even still stick with like the Christmas spices, so like the allspice, stuff like that. Make it a little bit more kind of warm. Maybe like a Boudin Blanc or something. Go a little bit sideways.
Oh yeah. Like
Because a lot of people
a sausage ballotine or something.
Yeah. A lot of people will probably stick to down the traditional route, but yeah, you could definitely do a sausage meat like Ballantine, like a Boudin Blanc. I think would be cool, and obviously keep the color off of it, stuff like that. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, cool. Just gives them another idea.
Yeah, and with regards to chutneys, there is, you could think of any ingredients that you wanted to in the world, stick a lot of vinegar in it, and bang, you've made a chutney. So yeah, I'd probably go outside the box with that one, to be honest.
Yeah, cool.
Brilliant, fantastic.
Hopefully Jay's thinking of something feverish.
Give us some ideas, that does. Oh, so what advice would you give, Connor, to students at college now? What advice would you give them?
I mean, college is very, very different to how it was when I went, with regards to not being able to do live classes and that, but just definitely cooking at home. Cook at home as much as possible. Pick a dish that you want to do, copy it like for like, read as much as possible. I know it's very, very difficult. I mean, I'm on furlough as well, so it's very, very difficult for me to find the motivation to do things throughout the day, but just kind of plan a section of 2 or 3 hours of your day to focus on something that you're passionate about and enthusiastic about. Like I say, I do triathlons as well, so I cycle for an hour a day, or I'll run for an hour a day, and then I do my podcasting on the side. So I'm kind of keeping myself busy with that, but it is very difficult at the moment. But just to keep positive, keep speaking to people as well. Reach out to everyone, even if you don't necessarily know someone personally. If you start following a chef on social media or wherever, and you just want to have a chat, ask, say, hey chef, what's going on? Do you mind if I have a conversation with you this afternoon, or about your career, something like that? I know the Craft Guild actually does a mentor program where you can actually be a mentor and have a mentee. And I think they're actually lacking in a lot of people that want to be mentored. So that would definitely be something I'd get involved with. There's a lot. They were completely inundated with people that wanted to be mentors, but no one that wanted to be mentored. So I was very fortunate last year I was going through a bit of a hard time at work and going through a bit of an issue that I was having at the Westbury, and fortunately enough, I was being mentored at the time by Andrew Bennett, who obviously passed away a couple of weeks ago, which it was very, very sad. But he was my mentor for a very, very tough time in my life, and it meant the world to me to have someone that I could look up to and give me advice on something that I didn't know a lot about. So I would definitely recommend getting involved with the Craft Guild Mentor Program and finding someone in the industry that you look up to and that you respect, and someone that will help you throughout your career as well. And this is the perfect time to find someone and gain knowledge from someone, because a lot of people have a lot of free time at the moment, especially in the hospitality industry.
That's really good advice, that is. So for any chef that want to look into that, I will post a link, like I said, after this meeting, so you can have a look yourself. Is there any other questions, chefs? You want to ask Connor? I think that's them questioned out. Oh, no, we've got one more. Ashley.
Yeah. What is your favourite ingredient to work with?
Cool.
Wow,
That's yeah.
Yeah. It's such a varied question, you know. There's so many different things that you can do with so many different ingredients. But I think cheese. I like cheese, and you know, all around the world, and the history of cheese is phenomenal as well. There was a guy at Harvey and Brockless that actually came into the Westbury and did a talk on cheese, and I have never met anyone so enthusiastic about cheese. This guy lived for it. You know, he smelled a bit funky as well, so you could tell he really loved what he was doing. But there's lots of little kind of artisan cheese places around the world, and everyone does things differently as well. So probably cheese, just because there's so much you can do with it. You know, even if you look into Asian cultures, you obviously got paneer and stuff like that, and then over to raclette and Roquefort. There's so many different things that you could do with so many different cheeses.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. That's really good. Ewan, we got another question from Ewan, I think, by the sound of it. Ewan, you there?
Yes, chef. Hi, Connor. I'm
Hello.
a level 1 student and was wondering, what would be your favourite foreign cuisine to cook?
My favourite foreign cuisine.
Ooh.
To be honest with you, I grew up in a very, very multicultural area. Obviously, as Darren will tell you, Hayes is very, very multicultural. So I had a lot of friends from a lot of different regions around the world. So for me, they wouldn't really be other cultures because they were my cultures growing up, you know. So it's very strange. But I had a lot of Asian friends. I had a lot of African friends. One of my very, very close friends is from the Congo. And if you ever seen food from the Congo, it's pretty strange, to be honest with you. But I used to go around all these people's houses to eat. So I think exposing to yourself to all of these cultures at a young age and at an early age, and then they don't necessarily become like a different type of cuisine. You can kind of fold them into your own style of cooking as well. So all of them. I'm going to go with all of them because I think they should all be recognized across the board, and they should all be able to be intertwined as well. If you work in a predominantly French style cuisine place, why not add some different elements from other places? You know, I'm a big fan of using a lot of different spices and stuff like that as well, and different elements from different dishes, but keeping to my modern French kind of European style.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Is there any more questions, chefs? I think there might be questioned out. I don't think there's any more coming through now.
And if anyone ever wants a pet, get a cockatiel. They are awesome.
Cockatiel's called kimchi, isn't it? Connor?
I've got kimchi and kombu. Yeah, kimchi's a little bit more antisocial. That's why you won't see him. But this is kombu. She's like my best friend. I was in bed before this. She was next to me sleeping for like an hour and a half.
That's great. Right. Well, thank you very much for that, Connor. If you could stay online for me, sure. And students, you go back to lessons now, and thank Connor on your way out.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Connor.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Connor.
We'll We'll just
Thank
let them all
you.
disappear, Connor, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we're left with just a few lecturers online, Connor, just to say thank you to you.
Yeah, no worries.
So over to Miss Grace.
Connor, thank you so much for coming on and giving us inspiration today, and also your lovely, I don't know whether it's a cockatiel or I can't remember what he is. I can't remember his name because he's got a really funny name, a Japanese name. Is that right?
Yeah, I got kimchi and kombu. Yeah, so naturally being a chef, you got to have some sort of foodie name animals, don't you?
Absolutely, just don't eat them.
Yeah.
So is life well with you?
Yeah, all good so far. Like I say, I'm still on furlough, which is a bit soul destroying. I've been on furlough since the middle of December, but I'm keeping myself busy. Some weeks are good, some weeks are bad with regards to, you know, keeping myself busy, for instance. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Like I say, I've got this little podcasting that I'm doing. I think I did that for about 8 hours last week, getting different guests on from the MMA community, which was cool. And I'm not going to be able to do that when I go back to work as well.
No.
You know, not so much time to be able to do it, and then doing this kind of stuff as well. I'm doing the bridging the skills gap thing as well. There's like a meeting on that on the 19th of February. I'm involved with that as well, and then guild meeting tomorrow. So yeah, I'm trying to keep myself as busy as possible. As you know, I'm quite a motivated, always on the go kind of person, which is this time has been very, very strange for me.
Yeah, and the training, are you keeping the training up? Lots.
Yeah. I've got a running coach as well. Well, I had a running coach before, but I've got a different running coach now. He's Swedish. He's like a Swedish triathlete. He's an absolute machine. So he's giving me all my runs and stuff to do, and I'm cycling indoors as well on the Zwift. So I do that for about 6 or 7 hours a week, and then I'll run for about 5 or 6 hours a week as well. So it's not too bad. Obviously, it's snowing now, so I won't be able to run, but I'll keep busy indoors.
Has anybody got any questions before I?
Do you do MMA yourself, or are you just a watcher?
I used to box when I was around 13. I was boxing from 13 to kind of, I don't know, a couple of years ago, in and out. Obviously, working, it became very difficult to do MMA as well. But I did a little bit of I did Muay Thai for about a year. I did some freestyle wrestling and some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So yeah, I wouldn't pick a fight. I wouldn't pick a fight with me in the street, but I'm not a professional by any means.
Yeah. You need a hobby, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think martial arts are a good discipline to have as well, especially alongside cooking, because they hold quite a lot of the same things. You know, respect for other people, respect for your work environment, respect for, you know, your dojo or whatever you're training on, respect for the kitchen, etc. So they hold a lot of the same things, and yeah, a good combination of the two, I think.
Yeah, I think James Martin said that the other day. He said, you know, cooking's a hard business, and you need a hobby to just to get out of it sometimes.
100%. And it's when cooking is your hobby as well as being your job, that's when I think you can get too submerged.
I wasn't name dropping.
Oh dear.
I knew I'd heard it recently somewhere else.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that, Connor. That was amazing. The students are messaging me about the Craft Guild at the moment. So hopefully they'll get on to having a look more at that. Oh, Gwen, have you got anything else?
No, just thank you as always, Connor. And if you are up for doing Jersey again, you know, we would love you to be on the team.
Anytime. You know me, I'm happy to do anything for anyone. You know that.
Thank you.
We might send you some pictures of Boudin Blancs.
Yeah. some attempts at Boudin Blancs.
It'll give Jay a chance to test some vinegars out.
Good.
Brilliant.
All right, well, take care.
Well.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.